On a recent morning in South Delhi, a fire broke out inside a six-story hotel squeezed into a claustrophobic alleyway. Before the flames were out, 21 people were dead. This cross-section reveals the loophole. In historical districts known as Lal Dora, building owners are legally exempt from municipal layout approvals. Builders exploit this to bypass safety regulations entirely, constructing massive, unregulated structures that lack even the most basic fire clearances. The government responded by invoking the Disaster Management Act to seize the personal properties and pensions of the officials who let this happen. It is an attempt to recover losses by targeting the bank accounts of those who colluded with the builders. Casualties are the inevitable result of turning urban villages into commercial hubs without fire oversight. When a glass facade is sealed and every emergency exit is locked, a building becomes a death trap long before the first spark hits. We see a similar gap between technical solutions and human reality in public health. While India has struggled to combat tuberculosis outside the lungs, the new Prevent-TB clinical trials recently showed a breakthrough efficacy of 60% against these hidden infections. However, the data reveals a critical failure point. In patients with a severely low body mass index, the vaccine's effectiveness drops away. No injection can trigger a strong immune response if the body itself is starving. The digital realm creates a different kind of isolation. Lonely teenagers are now substituting real human relationships with simulated AI companions, spending hours texting bots designed to mimic personalities. Relying on a machine to regulate stress or anger results in emotional laziness. These users stop developing their own real-world coping skills because they are outsourcing their mental well-being to an algorithm. Whether it is a new vaccine or a chatbot, technological tools fail when we ignore the baseline human context. Nutrition and real connection are the prerequisites for these interventions to actually work. National stability requires a foundation of political trust, which is currently fraying in Jammu and Kashmir. Leaders like Omar Abdullah are demanding a clear timeline for the restoration of statehood, arguing that the region's current status stifles its citizens. The 2019 abrogation of Article 370 remains a central part of public discourse, as citizens track the legal and constitutional debates surrounding the decision. We see similar friction in the push for one nation, one election. Critics argue that because state governments often collapse before their 5-year terms end, forcing a synchronized national calendar is logistically impossible. Without predictable representation or a synchronized political cycle, the center struggles to maintain policy consistency that a truly unified national market requires to function. Economic momentum fundamentally depends on this foundation of federal trust. Securing the nation is also evolving. Manual patrolling is failing in the riverine and mountainous zones where building a physical fence is geographically impossible. The new Smart Border project uses this topographical grid to monitor terrain automatically. By integrating thermal cameras, laser sensors, and radar into a single security net, the system can detect infiltration without a constant human presence. BSF personnel on the front lines will rely on these digital grids to manage frontiers where physical barriers break down or weather makes patrols too dangerous. India is also looking past its land borders to secure its industrial supply lines. The new Critical Minerals Observatory tracks global shipments of lithium and cobalt, aiming to break the monopoly dominant nations hold over the green energy transition. Strategic autonomy now rests on defending these invisible frontiers, from the digital sensor grids in the mountains to the mineral flows powering our energy future. Protecting these frontiers require global allies, yet trust between India and the US is breaking down. New Delhi is increasingly wary of Washington's purely transactional America First approach to the partnership. India feels betrayed by 3 major policy shifts: 50% tariffs on its goods, penalties for purchasing Russian oil, and a strategic pivot to Pakistan. Diplomatic attempts to fix the damage, like the recent visit by Marco Rubio, have largely failed. Upon his return, Rubio spoke about other regions, suffering astonishing amnesia regarding India or the Quad. From international trade to the fire safety of a local hotel, every policy has a catch. Navigating modern India requires truly looking past the headlines and auditing the blind spots that politicians often ignore.